Thank you. I like to read books. I especially love to read when I'm driving. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm reading with my ears. Audiobooks. Some reading purists or snobs would say that's not really reading. It's going in through your ear hole and not your eye hole. What's next? Book suppositories? But to me, it's the whole book, every word, so it is reading. And I'm very active, so I'm thankful that I can read while I'm doing other things, like cleaning the house or exercising. I especially like to read books where the characters are being chased. So it's like I'm playing along. Or it's like the worst Richard Simmons video, sweating to the Da Vinci Code. The world of books, it's a little bit different than the real world. For instance, in the real world, most people have brown hair and brown eyes, but in books, you have sparkling emerald green eyes, or you have ice blue eyes. Apparently in books, ice is eyeball blue. And your eyes can change color spontaneously. His eyes grew dark. But there's good news too, because if you're in the real world and not in a book, at least in the books I read, you're going to get shot, or locked in a trunk, or locked in a freezer. Or if you're in a Jane Austen book, you might not be locked in a freezer, but if you just go for a walk in the rain, you're going to get deathly ill for a fortnight. Yeah, a whole fortnight. In one book I read, a guy was locked in the freezer and needed a weapon, so he cut out his own shin bone to use as a weapon. I'm thinking, that thing you used to cut out your shin bone, couldn't you have used that as the weapon? Nowadays, a lot of books are about vampires, and book vampires are sexy. I love to cook, so as a cook, one thing that's really unsexy to me is a picky eater. Vampires are the ultimate picky eater. I'd be like, oh, hi, sexy vampire boyfriend. I made spaghetti carbonara. Bleh. Is there garlic in this? I don't want garlic. Can't we have blood? We had blood last night. And you don't even like type O, because most people are type O. You want type XXX. So, hand in hand with liking books, I also really like libraries. And I love Bethlehem Public Library, but one thing, they are always accusing me of damaging their books. One time, they wanted me to pay for this book. They said I damaged the cover, and I don't know how they can accuse anyone of damaging their books when they allow you to return a book in this outdoor 24-hour metal bin of peril, which is basically just like a giant garbage can outside of their library they let you just put books into. But I had to tell them, look, I did not damage this book. And like, look at the cover. There's a bloody handprint on it. Okay, that's The Killing Floor by Lee Child. That's the cover design. Well, this one too. This one's also damaged. That's Titus Andronicus, Shakespeare's bloodiest book. That's also just a cover design. All right, and this one? Okay, that's Eat, Pray, Love. Yeah, that one did get a bit dicey at the end. So going from Bethlehem Public Library, I started going to Allentown, and they have a great collection, but it's a bit dated. All their comedy writing books are by this old school comedian, Steve Allen. This last one I got, it was called The Funny Men, and he dedicated it to his wife, who also did comedy. And Steve Allen's mother also did comedy. So you think he would be aware of this whole funny women thing. And it's strange to me that people are still debating whether women can be funny. The oracle at Delphi was a woman. Her name was Pythia. She lived on top of this mountain, and if men wanted to know something important, they would climb up the mountain and ask the oracle. She would make up some crazy crap like, the shadow of the dragon is above you. And just based on that, the men would travel hundreds of miles and start a war, while Pythia stayed on top of her mountain smoking stuff. So there have been funny women since 600 BC.
Thank you. I'm Marie Guglielmo.